Hello, welcome to my second Patreon exclusive Q&A. You guys asked a bunch of questions. Not a lot to say. Let's get straight into it, starting with a banger. What are your top 5 best feet in video games? I don't know about my top 5, but if you Google Kirby's feet, then you'll get something entertaining out of that. I don't know how to answer these kind of meme questions, but I'm trying my best. Matthias Bayes, that last question was by Simon Aarons. Thank you very much. Matthias Bayes, what is your earliest video game memory? I bet someone already asked this. Someone didn't ask this. You're the first person. I have like a handful of earliest video game memories. I remember playing Bomberman on the Super Nintendo somewhere at like a family friend's house. I remember playing a lot of GoldenEye at different places. One of the first games I got was Age of Empires. So I don't think that's my earliest, but that is a very, very early game memory. I remember playing a lot of like Solitaire. I didn't actually get into game consoles until I was like 10 years old or so. I kind of missed the first generation, at least at home. I always wanted one, but my parents wouldn't get one, so I always played consoles at friends' houses, so I have a lot of good memories playing them at friends' houses. But a lot of like trashy PC games, like that one where you ski down the old Microsoft PC game. I don't know if anyone remembers that. The one where there's like a Yeti chasing you and you ski down and dodge trees. If anyone knows what that is, let me know. I think sometimes I remember the name of it. Dominic Chikoki, long socks or short socks? I'm a long sock kind of fella. But really, what do you think is your aesthetic? What do you think you're trying to go for? And how successful do you think you are at it? I think your videos are great, but I want to know what you think. I think my aesthetic is a laid-back look at some old games that I don't think anyone else would play. I'm trying to be entertaining, but not in a crassly funny way. I think that's my aesthetic. I guess compared to the typical YouTuber that covers what I cover, I am definitely not someone who cuts to gags or does quick, snappy jokes or anything like that, just because that feels unnatural to me, so I don't do it. And I enjoy like lazy game reviews and the kind of content that I think is more similar to my kind of thing. So I try and emulate that because everyone tries to pretend that they are what they're fans of, if that makes sense. I think that's what I'm trying to go for. Relaxed, informative, and I think I'm pretty successful at it. I think I could be better. I think something that I want my videos to be is more valuable to the viewer in ways that might be more than just my research and my recounting of what it is. It's hard to explain what I mean by that, but I don't know. I'd like to throw in like developer interviews maybe, or I'd like to corroborate a more interesting idea into a single video rather than just honing in on one game, but still make it in line with my aesthetic, and that's hard to do, but I'm working on it. Do you have any podcasts you really enjoy listening to? I need new ones because I listen to them instead of talking to people at work. Thank you, Trixie Emerson. I know that feeling. I really like, as far as American podcasts go, which is probably more accessible, I really like the Giant Bombcast for video games. That's the only video game podcast I listen to. And I also really like the Tiny Meat Gang podcast, which is Cody Ko and Noel, what's his name's podcast. They're both YouTubers, but they're really, really funny, really quick on the trigger. I also enjoy, if you want a funny Australian podcast, my favorite podcast ever is called TOFOP, TOFOP. That is a comedy conversation between two friends, and it's like an Australian actor and a famous Australian comedian named Will Anderson and Charlie Clausen, not respective. That's a really entertaining podcast, and I really like their AFL podcast called Two Guys, One Cup, which is very much not accessible unless you're into Australian rules football. But yeah, I think if you want any podcast, if you want a single podcast, try TOFOP, but it's very stupid. Yeah. What are your plans for the channel? Or are you just enjoying the ride? I'm enjoying the ride, but I do have plans. I'm always trying to like evolve the channel and move it forwards. I don't want to get bored in one series, if that makes sense. Not that I want to stop doing what I'm doing or anything, but I don't want to. I want to feel like I'm trying new things all the time. So yeah, developer interviews are part of the plans in the future, I'm hoping. And probably, like I said earlier, some more broad topics that are a bit more ambitious. But yeah, enjoying the ride. As you produce more content, are there any, this is by Chris Collins, as you have produced more content, are there any habits or behaviors you've had to keep an eye on or get rid of? Procrastination, bad editing habits, playing Mafia again. I actually haven't played Mafia since my review of it. I used to play it every single year, and since reviewing it, that seems to be a habit of mine. Like, if I review a game, I will never touch the game again, so I kind of don't want to review some games for that reason. But yeah, I struggle with procrastination. I'm getting better and better at it. I'm sort of writing lists of what I want to do in the next day and then ticking things off that list during that day, and I'm sort of, I feel like I'm improving, but as I get, like with the last month, I was in New Zealand for like over a week, and I was in Tasmania for a week, and I spent more time away from home, and that kind of thing can sort of, you get on a roll beating procrastination, and then when you get interrupted by like a big sort of holiday or life event or whatever it may be, that can all be reversed, and you kind of feel like you need to start again. But each time it's getting easier. So yeah, I struggle a lot with procrastination, but I feel like I'm a lot better at it than I was when I first started doing this, at least. Like, I feel like I'm improving, and that feels good. Bad editing habits. Yeah, no, yeah. Like, there's a lot of, in my writing, I've had to sort of rewrite things to be more natural a lot, if that makes sense. Like, I used to write, that being said. I used to say that being said at the start of like 3 paragraphs in every fucking review, and that was terrible. Don't do that. Like, a lot of like repetitive things that I've had to iron out. And also being wishy-washy in my writing, like being like, it's sort of good. So when I wrote out my Captain America video, I wrote the entire thing, and it was very, very just like, yeah, it's all right. Like, I guess this is pretty, like, it sounded very, it sounded like I was bored as fuck with the game, and I wasn't. It's a cool game. Also, excuse all this stuff behind me, by the way. You might have seen my post yesterday or the day before, whenever I posted that. Yeah, so I had to rewrite the entire Captain America review to be more snappy and more interesting and reflect what I wanted to do more. And that was really frustrating because I just wanted to make the video and release it. As far as like actual editing habits, there are things that I feel like I've improved on with editing, but I don't know about habits that I've sort of had. Also, back like a long time ago, like 5 graphically impressive days, I used to like not play the games very much, and I feel like these days I want to really get to know the game. Like say with my Nintendo DS first-person shooter roundup, like that's a big fucking video. I had to play a ton of games, so often some games got put by the wayside and I only played like half an hour of them and then wrote like my bit about them. And if I was to do that video today, I'd probably play a lot more of each game. Even if it would take longer, it would result in a better video, and that's kind of something I'm much more conscious of. Thank you, Chris Collins. Which video game would you like to live in? As a kid, the answer to this was always Pokemon. And after seeing Detective Pikachu, I think it's probably still Pokemon. I actually can't think of any other. A lot of games are kind of depressing. I can't think of any other like utopian worlds, but Pokemon sounds cool to live in. Yeah, I'm sorry, Renegade. I can't think of a better answer. Who are your favorite YouTube creators, and what YouTubers who inspired you, and what YouTubers who inspired you to make your videos? By Fatboy Vladimir. Also, as a fellow Epic gamer, do you have any thoughts on E3 2019? P.S. I'm still waiting on that dab mini-me. I was out of the country during E3 2019, so I missed a lot of it, but I really enjoyed it. Keanu Reeves, of course, that was very fun. Cyberpunk looks like it's going to be the best game ever. I very much bought into the excitement for that game. There was nothing else I came out of E3 2019 really in love with. It was just a thing to me. It felt smaller scale than any E3 before it, but you can say that about every E3 for the past half decade or so. Which is a real just, whatever. It felt very like, it just felt smaller. And I think it's generally agreed that it was smaller by people who actually went. Who are your favorites? So I have a bunch of favorite YouTube creators. I really like Rad Rat Video. I enjoy a guy named Colorshed who is smaller than me. Please look up Colorshed for his reviews. He's not one of my favorites yet, but he's really getting there. Rad Rat Video, Classic Game Room I've talked about before. I really like The Examined Life of Gaming. It's a very entertaining channel. I like Lazy Game Reviews. It's hard to think of a lot of these off the top of my head. There's an upcoming channel called People Make Games that I'd like to recommend. Yeah, I actually don't watch heaps of YouTube, not nearly as much as I used to. And I think that's because as a YouTuber, I kind of feel like whenever I watch a video, I just look at it from like a creator's perspective and it just kind of annoys me. But yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of people I'm missing that I love to watch. But I'm actually struggling. Oh, I'm sorry to all the YouTubers I love. Recently, I wanted to do a video called 5 Graphically Impressive YouTubers as a milestone video. And I still might do that. And I had some YouTubers written down for that. And I can't think of any of them. But anyway, thanks for the question, Fatboy Vladimir. P.S. Still waiting on that dab. And you'll still wait. Apologies. I think this is the final question. Let's see what... Yeah, it is. Okay. Nikolai Mende... Oh no, you told me how to say your name last time and I forgot it. I think it's Mende. Apologies, I'll look up again. What are your thoughts on the original Far Cry if you've played it? I've played it for some time when I was a kid, but never finished it then and got back into it already in my 20s. And even though I found it pretty damn hard, but annoyingly hard, not like it was a real fair challenge. And those NPCs shooting through tents as if they could see through them, I remember that. They can piss you right off, so I think it kind of lost its value. Basically, you summed up my opinion of the original Far Cry. I think it's a pretty bad game. Beautiful graphics, controls quite nicely, but Jesus Christ, that enemy AI just makes it so not fun, and it doesn't feel intelligently designed. It's just kind of eye candy. The guns don't actually feel that great either. They kind of feel a bit like water pistol-y when you actually shoot enemies. They don't feel like they do heaps of damage. It's just a bit of a rubbish feeling game, and it annoys me because I should really like it. Like it's a game that should be really fun, but Jesus Christ, it's just not fair and just not a cool game. I don't know. Do you have any funny stories related to gaming from your childhood? Like you got stuck at some point in some game because you didn't know something or anything like that? I remember really struggling with the Driver 1 tutorial. I didn't finish Driver 3 until I was like 18. Well, probably not that long, but you know, 16 or something. And I had that game like my whole life. I don't know. I used to mess around in Minecraft. You know how old Minecraft is? Like, I'm nostalgic about Minecraft and I'm 23. But back when that was in alpha, I used to like... We had this server and I remember a lot of times like screwing over people. I was a really shitty kid, but it was a lot of fun. I don't have any like outstandingly funny story. But oh man, apologies, Nikolai. I didn't read this as I prepared. Yeah, I can't think of anything hugely specific. If I do, I'll get back to you. I'm gonna set a reminder. Remind me when I ask for more questions for the next Q&A, and maybe I'll have a story then. Apologies, I just can't think of anything. I mean, yeah, funny stories, not really. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I appreciate your support as usual. Apologies for the delay on a whole bunch of reliving videos as well as this video. But regardless, as I said, thank you for watching and thanks for the questions. Hope I answered them sufficiently. Leave a comment if I didn't, and take it easy.